Last time on All Character Finishers Ranked, we covered one of the most requested characters to appear on the series, Mileena. Today, we're covering the other deadly sister of Mortal Kombat, Princess Kitana. Making her debut in Mortal Kombat 2, she's Shao Kahn's daughter, well, kinda, and best known for her deadly fan blades. Today, we're going to rank all 18 of Kitana's fatalities from the worst to the best. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everyone. My name is Nick, and welcome back to the channel. If you haven't done so already, wave punch that subscribe button to join the Whack Pack today and to stay tuned for more Mortal content. In this episode, we'll be taking a look at Kitana, one of the most iconic and popular characters in the franchise. She's also described as the sexy and vicious fighter and a killer babe who melds a mix of seduction and violence by times union. Because of this impact, people are a big fan of the character. Alright, I'm sorry, that was a perfect opportunity to put that in there. Her finishers will be ranked based on their creativity, pacing, impact on the series, and personality. Here are the rules for the princess. Rule number 1, brutalities, stage fatalities, and mortalities will not be included in this list. Rule number 2, fatalities from Mortal Kombat Armageddon won't count either. And rule number 3, recreated fatalities will count as their own entry in this list. As mentioned in previous episodes, many games do something different with each of these classic finishers, for better or for worse, and each will be ranked differently. For an example, Kitana has several ways to decapitate the opponents to not let them get ahead of themselves. Believe me, there's a lot, so each will be ranked as its own. With those rules established, grab your fans, put on your crown, and get some lip gloss as we rank all 18 of Kitana's fatalities across all of the games she's appeared in. Number 18. Deciding on the worst finisher for Kitana was pretty challenging, as many of those entries range from underwhelming to pretty good. But in the end, we're starting off our list with the comic book crossover with an underwhelming start to this list.
Kitana wins. Fatality.
Flying in at number 18, we have the fan throw. This is probably the least unique Kitana finisher. Throughout the series, we've seen various people have something thrown into their chest, and everyone does it with their own personal flair. Even for a teen-rated game, this one still kind of feels underwhelming. Besides the opening of the fans, there's really nothing that feels like Kitana in this. For that, this is the worst Kitana fatality. Number 17. Time to dive into the realm of underwhelm with Mortal Kombat 4, the 3D extravaganza of the series. The gimmick of Mortal Kombat 4's finishers was to state that all of the favorite finishers were going to be recreated in 3D. Don't get me wrong, they recreated them, but many lost all of the impact, like this one here.
Fatality.
Cutting in at number 17 is Fan Decapitation, the 3D edition. Like many of these finishers, it feels like it lacks impact and flair. The sliding to the opponent with the jakey animation makes this come off as the weakest version of the decapitations in this game. Definitely a finisher where the devs lost their heads in the execution. Number 16. Making our way to the arcade classic, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. With this updated version of Mortal Kombat 3, we were given new characters, and Kitana was one of them. Sadly, the quality of the finishers didn't carry over from game to game.
Kitana wins. Fatality.
At 16, we have the decapitation from Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. Similar to the Johnny Cage uppercut from Trilogy, this one really feels half-assed. The body not falling over and the cropping of the head makes it come off as lazy. A very boring finisher in my opinion. Number 15. Time to take a look back at MK4 for Kitana's second fatality. Where the first one was an admittedly bad remake of the classic Fan Decapitation, what quality does her second remade finisher bring?
fatality.
To be honest, it's still pretty bland. I do have to give it credit for being a tad different than the previous two takes. Instead of the inflate or just contorting, it teeters a bit at the start. It's still not that great and, unlike the explosion, not much of a banger finisher. Number 14. Headed into number 14 by checking out Mortal Kombat X. You all probably know by now I am not the biggest fan of the remade finishers from this game. This one is no different.
Kitana wins. Fatality.
Coming in at number 14 is the classic Decapitation remake. This one falls in the trappings of just doing the exact same thing the classic did with no extra flair. Sure, it does stick to its roots, but I wish it could have done more. Maybe by updating some camera angles or some other shots like that, it could really help give it some quality of life. Guess you could say it needed more fanfare. Sorry for the bad pun. Moving on. Number 13. Let's revisit Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 for our next spot. As mentioned before, this game improved the combat system to what it is today, but many complained about the lacking finishers. Kiss of Death was also downgraded for this game.
Fatality.
At number 13, we have the ultimate version of Kiss of Death. More like, not so ultimate. I personally found the stretching of the body to be interesting, but I am a person who always preferred the body to inflate instead. It doesn't have the same impact as the original to me, which is what places it much lower on the list. Number 12. Making our way to Kitana's first playable appearance with Mortal Kombat 2. With this game came many firsts for the character. Her first finisher is pretty, well, okay.
Kitana wins. Fatality.
At number 12, we've got Fan Decapitation, the OG. A very simple finisher by today's standard. Why I put this one lower is because there are many decapitations in this game already, which makes it hard to stand out. Though it was pretty simple, it was referenced as the series went on and, well, fanned the flame for more readaptations. Number 11. Speaking of readaptations, we are entering the retelling of Mortal Kombat 2 with Shaolin monks. The approach for these finishers were to remake each of the classic finishers and make them more cinematic than ever before, some being improvements and adding character to a classic. The Fan Decapitation remake lands at number 11. Unlike the previous one, this one highlights more of Kitana's character. Starting with a stylish walkaway to kind of fake them out, opening the fan and then quickly striking is a good reimagining of a classic. Still simple and right to the point. Number 10. Let's stick with Shaolin monks for another placement. Where the first one recreated the Fan Decapitation, her second one recreates her other iconic finisher, the Kiss of Death. Smacking our way into number 10 is the Shaolin monks version of Kiss of Death. This finisher has some interesting pacing, as the kiss feels a bit too long and the explosion feels more like a bomb went off inside the opponent. What could have saved this one for me is if the body inflated in some comical way, but this is just more disappointing than anything. But this was cool as it was the same finisher used in the story mode for the game, which does place it above the previous entry. Time to kiss the Shaolin monks finishers goodbye. Number 9. Hey, we're finally taking a look at Mortal Kombat 2011 for our next spot. Many finishers were remakes of classics, usually by adding onto a classic or fusing two finishers into one. For Kitana, we got a remake of the Fan Decapitation.
Kitana wins. Fatality.
Although I really like this one, there are some elements that don't make it feel too unique for me. First off, the push does feel a bit too extra with the arms rotating like you're trying to conjure up or bend some water or something, I don't know. The amputation of the arms is nice, and the cutting of the top of the head is cool, slicing right above the mandible. Sadly, this feels more like a product of not fitting the character the best. Personally, I think this would be better if it were a Baraka fatality. Still a good finisher that cuts right in. Number 8. Finally making our way to Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, the 5th mainline game in the series. With the exception of Raiden and Reptile, please check these out when you are finished with this one, many of these finishers were stinkers for me. Good thing Kitana doesn't fall in this disappointment category.
Wins. Fatality.
Kissing our way. Making our way into number 8 is the Kiss of Death from Deadly Alliance. I always thought this one was a unique take of this finisher. Inflating 3 times to pop like a bloody balloon is just awesome. I really appreciate the part where the person just vomits, it just shows how painful this is. I can admit this finisher does look awkward and it hasn't aged the best over time, as each part of the character inflates, parts of their character model inflate with it, making it look strange. Still a good finisher that's a blast. Number 7. At number 7, we're looking at Kitana's second fatality from Mortal Kombat X. In this game's story, Kitana is now a Revenant, which makes her
bad person, like all the way through to your core.
With this darker approach, her finishers have a twisted approach, but this one kind of falls apart for me.
Kitana wins. Fatality.
Dark Fantasy will take the number 7 spot. Hey, don't yell at me for the pun, this is actually how they wrote it down. First, the positives. I think the 2 throws and the opening of the fans is awesome alone. However, the second half is where it starts to lose me. The final shot is also a bit awkward, only showing the hands and the cap of the head. If I were editing this finisher, I would have Kitana summon the fans back and let the body fall apart. It's a good start, but like the opponent, just has me split. Number 6. Headed into number 6 with Mortal Kombat vs DC. Where the first finisher didn't feel like a Kitana fatality at all, the team managed to make up for the disappointment and recreate a classic finisher.
Wins. Fatality.
At number 6, we have the Kiss of Death. Alright, put your pitchforks down please and just let me explain. I don't think this is a bad fatality in the scope of MK vs DC or Mortal Kombat as a whole. It brought back the Kiss of Death fatality and the inflating is just hilarious and reminds me of the classic, but in a good way. For me, this one is one of the best readaptations of this finisher. Kiss all the other haters goodbye. Number 5. After all this time, we're finally taking a look at Mortal Kombat 11. Many people, including myself, have stated that this game has some of the best finishers in the entire series, many being innovative and becoming more creative than ever. Here, we get another great use of Kitana's fans.
Fatality. Kitana wins.
Kicking in at number 5 is Royal Execution, another finisher that would make Wesley Snipes happy. Based on her dancing fans attack, but actually useful. The fans cut the head off and the body in half, ending by kicking the fan back into the head like a knife, reminding me a bit of Melina's sidekicks from Deception. Unlike Melina's finisher though, this one kicks ass. Number 4. Let's close out the Mortal Kombat reboot by examining Kitana's second fatality. Where the first one was, honestly, pretty underwhelming, this one really delivers and feels a lot more unique just for Kitana.
Kitana wins. Fatality.
At number 4, we have Splitting Headache. Truly a gross way to go and pretty innovative for the time. Stabbing the gut to open the fan, eviscerating the opponent, only to do the same to their face is just awesome. It's gross, it's cool, and it provides some solid fan service. Number 3. Taking the bronze medal will be Kitana's third finisher from MKX. With the first one being a pretty unique way to use the fans and the second one recreating a classic, what did they bring to the table for her third finisher?
Kitana wins. Fatality.
One pretty disturbing and unique one from a gory point of view. Getting the Count Dooku treatment and then following it up by pinning them to the ground to split their face like loaves of bread is impressive. The best parts are the camera angles and the slow reveal of the head peeling apart. This is a Kitana finisher headed in the right direction. Number 2. For our runner-up, we'll be looking at Mortal Kombat 11. Throughout this whole list, we've seen a lot of recreations of the same finishers. To be honest, not too much innovation. But this one is truly a standout for being innovative and crazy.
Fatality. Kitana wins.
Our second place spot goes to Gornado. What makes this one stand out among the rest is, once again, the innovation of MK11's finishers. Eviscerating the opponent with the fan, then creating a tornado with Kitana's powerful pull, all of the bits that come out of the opponent is just awesome. All of these nuances still feeling like something Kitana could pull off. It is a great progression of what Kitana can now do as the series had thrived. These factors and innovations make Gornado take the silver medal. Number 1. Our top spot comes from Kitana's first playable appearance, Mortal Kombat 2. This game helped define how characters would be portrayed throughout the series, whether it was by gameplay or the finishers. One of Kitana's finishers became a staple for her with some lasting impact. Now this screams classic Mortal Kombat to me. This kill is possibly a reference to Thunder's death from Big Trouble in Little China, which was a huge inspiration for Mortal Kombat. This finisher had been referenced in numerous titles and became a brutality in the latest Mortal Kombat title. It's one that's tied to Kitana and helps make her stand out for who she is. For that, the Kiss of Death is the #1 Kitana fatality of all time. So there you have my ranking of all 18 of Kitana's finishers from the worst to the best. Which Kitana fatalities are your favorite and which one are your least favorite? Be sure to put your rankings in the comment section down below and I'll surely get back to you. While you're at it, let's respect each other's opinions. My ranking isn't the right list, it's just my list and I would love to hear yours too. So please, let's respect each other. Consider dropping a like on this video, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe as I post every other Monday. Your contribution is what keeps this channel growing. We're about to reach 14,000 subscribers by the time of this recording, so let's push beyond that and get to 15,000 subscribers. Stay tuned for the next video as it is another highly requested character who will finally get their finishers ranked. Also, I'll be dropping a bonus video next Friday, so look out for that one too. As always, thank you very much for checking out this video. My name is Nick, and remember to have an amazing day.